to the House.
Dr. Duncan Webb.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It gives me great pleasure to speak on this bill about the cathedral, which is in the heart of my electorate, and I look forward in some years taking Ms Stamford and her children through the cathedral. I'll happily host her and any of her colleagues any time. Sir, this building is and will be a magnificent monument in the middle of Christchurch, and I do remember myself looking at it with awe and wonder as a young man, and then taking my own children there and seeing them have the same sense of awe looking at this Gothic architecture, these huge vaults and the perhaps somewhat dim but awe-inspiring interior. And I remember taking them to the area where one lights candles, not being particularly religious, having to explain to them what was going on. And I thought we would light a candle and explaining to them that it was a prayer candle, and what one was supposed to do was think of someone in need and say a prayer as you light the candle in a symbolic sense. And, sir, this is a symbol of Christchurch because it really has represented not only the physical destruction that has blighted Christchurch, but also the dissension which has blighted Christchurch. And what we've seen here is an example of how not to do things, and then a real change in how things can be done. Because, sir, it's clear that arguing from separate corners gets us nowhere, and trying to solve problems by recourse to the courts alone won't get us any further. So it's with a great deal of joy that I see that we've managed to move past that, and I do commend all of those involved. Most recently it's been the Christchurch City Council who have made good on their promise, as they must, to contribute to the restoration. And I recognise the ratepayers of Christchurch, some of whom won't like bearing that burden, but who will bear the burden of an increased rate to do that. And also the change of direction of the Greater Christchurch Building Trust and their willingness to engage in the processes which have been put before them. Special mention does need to be made of the church, because it is the church or the church property trustees who own the land, and they have changed their view. They have agreed to do something which was not their first choice, and they have had their property rights altered. And I know the Synod and members of it considered this very, very carefully indeed. And I thank the members of the Synod for the considerable time that they spent on this. And Jim Anderton has already been mentioned. Our thoughts are with him as in the work he's done on this job, and the Bishop as well, who has led the church through this time. Probably lastly, the politicians. Nicky Wagner, the former minister, has been instrumental in bringing these people together, and I recognise that, and recognise that she's a close neighbour, and that she also will enjoy this cathedral. Megan Woods for her bringing this bill to the House, and also my colleague, a new MP, who showed real wisdom and care, Deborah Russell, in chairing that select committee. I was very proud to work with her on that, and a special mention there. One thing that will be important is the continued engagement and consultation, because, as has been mentioned, these are special powers, but they will only get engagement if they are carefully consulted on. But really what has to happen now is the process itself, the engagement of architects and builders and engineers, but also real artisans. This is a worldwide exciting project. Stonemasons from around the world want to come here and do this. This will be a magnificent building. I really look forward. This will be much more than just a monument. It will be a meeting place. It will be a marae for Christchurch. It will also be a refuge, a place of silence and solitude for some. It will also, of course, be a church and a place of worship. It won't happen overnight, but when it does happen, it will become what it once was, a jewel.
Joanne Hayes.
And I stand to take a call on the